There's lots of great map making software out there where just a click of a button and you can place your icons and create your world map easily, or even sites where it just generates a world map for you. But there's something that having a physical drawn map that you did yourself that the programs can't compare to. Also, it's a lot of fun to draw. So today I'm going to show you how I draw my world maps or area maps by hand, even though sometimes I use physical maps, especially if I'm playing on a VTT. But I still like to draw my maps by hand sometimes. So I'm going to show you how to do that, and we're going to do some drawing today. I'm Tristan, this is Heroes in Homebrew. So before I draw, well, I don't have to do this too much anymore because I kind of have them in my head. It's important to take a look at a mapping key, something that's going to tell you what the icons on your paper are actually telling you. Like, how do the trees look? How do mountains look? How does desert look? What are you using to indicate cities and towns, etc.? So for that, what I usually do, I'll use the D30 Sandbox Companion, which is basically just a big book of different tables and stuff that you can use for your sandbox campaign. But it also has sheets on it for drawing area maps, and it has handy icons to help you indicate everything. So I'll show you that. This is what it looks like. So you can see you have your capital city, your town, your village, hamlet, all of this stuff, and also icons for the natural terrain. Your farmland, grassland, farmland's easy because it's just blank. Your grasslands, scrub, desert, mountains, barren lands, volcanoes, your different types of trees, whether it's deciduous or evergreen or jungle. So if you can use this, or you can make up your own, as long as you understand what each of these symbols mean. All right, so we've taken a look at our mapping key. We understand what these symbols are going to mean. Now it's time to start. I think we're going to start with a coastline. So we'll have a little bit of coastline and a large area of wilderness. So all you need to do is draw sort of like a jagged line. Don't want it to be straight. Now, how are we going to indicate that this is coast? Is we're going to double up on these lines, but it's going to be a broken line. So we're going to go around like that. There's no rule on how long these lines have to be. You can make them very, very short. I like to make them a little bit longer, leaving a space between them, because then we're going to do another line on top of them, or not on top of them, but beside them. And that'll show us the coastline. So do another one like this. Now this is of course not the only way to draw your hand-drawn maps. This is just how I do it, and it works pretty well. For me, I haven't had a problem with them before. They seem to be pretty easy to read and understand. So there we go. We have our coastline. This is water. Here there be sea monsters. And now we have all this wilderness to fill out. Normally I would do this on a hex map unless I'm just drawing for fun. If I'm drawing something that I think I'm going to be using for a game, then I would use a piece of paper that has the hex grid on it already. But for now, we're just doing it for fun. So we're just using a blank sheet, using a sketchbook. So we're going to draw our mountains. Now, depends how real you want your mountains to look, right? So you could draw, if you look at the mapping key, mountains, either you can draw the black triangles, which you would do, like, you would do one black filled in triangle for in a hex, or you can draw like this, which is like individual mountains. Since we don't have the hex, we're going to just draw the mountains. Alright, so this is how I do it. I draw a jagged line, sharp edges, it doesn't look like anything right now, but then take these points and draw little lines going off of them, sort of curving off. It's starting to have some formation. And we got, so you can almost see it looking like mountains already. But we need to do a bit of shading. So we're going to shade in these little areas, just along the lines that come off. You know, just do however it feels, whatever feels right to you. This might not be, you know, how everyone does it. But again, it's how I do it. And I didn't go to art school or anything, so I just do it off of how I've learned and, you know, books I've read, and just practice, really, just to learn what I feels right or what looks good for me. So there you go. Normally I'll do my mountains going north to south, but you can do them however you want. It's a fantasy world, right? What generally I will do is, instead of just having the straight line, I'll then break off a bit. Have these little, like, outcroppings of mountains as well. And I'll do another one here. There's no specific science behind it. I don't look into how tectonic plates move and create mountains. I don't need to go that in depth in my world drawing or anything. You can if you want. If you want to make it, you know, hyper realistic, more power to you. I just don't have the time for that. For me, as long as it makes sense, then I'm happy. Alright, so we have a bit of a mountain range there. Now, near mountains, you're going to have generally some hilly terrain. So we can do our hills almost the same way. Just rounded. Just like, almost like you're drawing a butt. It's just a shaded butt. That's all you're doing. draw as many or as few as you like, because it's your world and you get to design it however you want. And I'll do some up here. Some big hills, there we go. Alright, so we got mountain range, we have some hills. Now, I think we'll probably do some more mountains down here just to fill it out, otherwise we're going to have like a big gap, and it's nice to have sort of like a long mountain range that kind of splits the world in two so you can create some natural borders. So I'm going to go ahead and do that and then we'll come back. Alright, so you can see I've added some extra mountain ranges. They kind of go from, let's say, northwest to southeast-ish. Now, next thing you want to do, next thing I do generally is I'll draw the rivers. Now remember, the rivers are always going to go from high to low, so they'll go from the mountain range down to the water. You're never going to have a river go from water to the mountain range. And it'll circumvent hilly areas, things like that. Now usually you can do a river very easily by just drawing a line. You just want it to sort of come from this mountain range. I don't have any particular plan for my rivers. I just do them where I think it looks good. But I like them to wind a bit, you know? Then I might have another river come from over here to join it. Now we'll throw another one down here. This could come here. Even this one could come over here and join this one. Maybe this one will come down here and join this. So now you can see we have mountains, we have some rivers. We're creating these natural borders. So say this area right here, that could be its own small nation or duchy or kingdom. This could be another larger one. So having natural borders is generally what nations would do back then. It's easier than having a nebulous, maybe nondescript border that could be fought over constantly. So you can say like this river is the border of our lands. It is a lot easier and there's less dispute over it. I'll do another river here. This is going off the map. That one. Throw one down here. Have another little one joining that. This could come over here, go off the map. That bad boy could go there. You could even have rivers coming off the hills if you wanted to. Why not? Maybe they would be more like streams or creeks. They wouldn't necessarily be these big rivers like you would get off mountains that have like snow and ice melting on them. And this guy and that little small one joining there. I have another one. Now, once the rivers get to the ocean, you'll very rarely have rivers that split off of themselves. That's called a delta, and it does happen, but it's rare. So like Egypt has a delta, like the Nile Delta it splits off. That's because of a buildup of silt and stuff, as is my understanding. I'm not a scientist, so I don't really know, but from what I understand, it's a buildup of sediment that creates that kind of thing. You could, if you want, have yourself a little delta, you know, create this break off here. I would use it sparingly though. Alright, so we have some rivers now. We have excuse me, we have some indications of where maybe these nations could be. So you could have like 3 large nations here along the water, and you can maybe have like this could be sort of no man's land or whatever you want to do. And next, we're going to need some forests. So let us decide what forests we're going to use. So you can see here we have deciduous forest, evergreen, and jungle. We also have swamps. Maybe we'll throw in a couple of swamps just for fun. I think we're going to go with more of a southern part of the map is going to be more of a jungle, tropical, and then more to the northern part of the map will be a temperate zone. Okay, so in the south here we're going to have tropical. Now, depending on how far out you're viewing it, if you're viewing your area map up close, you could draw the individual trees, or if you have the hex grids on there, you could draw like 1 tree per hex to indicate the forest. We have a lot of land to cover here, so we could draw sort of clumps. I'll draw both on here just to show. So let's say if down here in this corner here we want a jungle, let's do a line with some sideshow bob hair. It's not great, but do a line. It doesn't have to look perfect. It indicates what it is. Or you could draw a larger clump with all these jagged lines. So this forest is going to continue off of the there. You know what? We're going to put a bit of jungle here, so we're going to have this river going through the jungle. Now, this just looks like a weird line, so what we're going to do is we're going to add some other ones in the middle. It's more like kind of check mark lines. And of course afterwards, if you wanted to color it in with colored pencils, then you're obviously going to be able to indicate what that is. If it's going to be a big clump of green with all these check marks, it's going to be kind of obvious what it is. And I'll do another individual one here just for fun. Why not? Throwing the rules all out the window. Let's make these trunks a little bit thicker. Alright, so we got a little jungle down there. And then maybe we'll do another clump of jungle here. It doesn't have to be symmetrical, it can go all over the place. It's fine. And then I'll just do some more here. My son is sleeping in the next room and he likes to listen to music while he sleeps. Apparently very loud. I don't know if you guys can hear that in the background. There you go, so we got this, our jungle. We could leave this all like grassland if we want. We could draw another river. Next, up here we're going to do more of a more of a deciduous forest. This is kind of the same idea, but we're going to draw little clouds. The line, little cloud, line, little cloud. Now, if I wanted to draw an entire forest like that, it would take a long time. So we're going to do this. We're going to draw a big cloud. Same idea as the jungle, except we're doing sort of rounded edges and not those sharp, spiky edges. And we'll do the same thing. Instead of the sharp checkmarky things, we're going to do little rounded seagull things. I feel like Bob Ross. There's a happy little seagull. There we go. And then we'll do another forest here. You know what? We're going to make it a weird shape. Just to show that you don't have to make things like a perfect symmetrical area. Because forests don't grow in perfect circles or, you know, rounded clumps. We're going to do our happy little seagulls. There we go. We got some forests. Now, of course, we can do much more. Lots of forests is great. You can do as many as you want, wherever you want. But I think we're going to do let's do some grasslands. So the grasslands, again, are very easy. Let's do grasslands here. Sort of grasslands between the temperate and the tropical. So the grasslands are just little lines like that. It's not necessary to indicate your grasslands. You could just say whatever doesn't have mountains or rivers or anything like that is just considered grass. But I like to use grasslands to indicate that it's more like plains with maybe some tall grass in it. There we go, we got some grasslands there. I think over here on this side we're going to do some desert, which is super easy. Desert's just going to be dots. And you can draw dunes as well if you wanted to. So you do like this. Those would be your dunes. And we have the dots to indicate sand. Do some grasslands on the outside of it. Now again, this might not be probably not scientifically accurate of how you would have these different zones laid out, but it's fantasy. We can do whatever we want. Alright, we got our jungle, we got some desert, we got grasslands, we have some deciduous forests. There's lots of other things you could add on. Like we could add, say, a cave here. Just do a little curve, the cave. You can make like a plateau. We're gonna do like a sort of a big cloud, and we're just gonna do like lines off of it. Another option. Let's put a forest here. Why not? There we go. A little forest next to it. Now, again, I'm not going to do all of the different things on this map that we can do. But lastly, we're going to decide on where we're going to place our cities or towns or villages. Generally, you would find the towns close to water, and you need to indicate the different sizes. So you can use just say this is where two rivers meet. You just use a dot like that to indicate just a town. Maybe down here near the ocean, you're going to have a city, so it would be a dot with a circle around it. And then you're going to want a capital maybe. So maybe you can put your capital up here, and we're going to just do a little star. And put a circle around it. Alright, so we got a town, we got a city. Let's do some more towns here. You're going to find these towns along the river because they need a source of water. And water coming from the mountains is going to be the cleanest kind of water. Let's do another city down here. A little further from a river, from clean water, but that's okay. Now I'm going to leave this area kind of blank. It's the unexplored zone, maybe. Now let's put another capital down here. So this would be a different nation, maybe. And you know what? It doesn't make sense to have this city. So we're going to draw river. There you go. That city's along a river now. And we'll put a town a little upriver from them. Let's put another town there. So like your towns are going to be, let's put a city here. There we go. So now you got a pretty feasible map. Yeah, we could fill in this area a bit. We could do like some more forest, maybe some grasslands. Throw some grasslands here if we wanted to. You know. And of course you could do things like, if you wanted to make your adventuring areas, you can add in little symbols to indicate where a dungeon might be. Like, say if we wanted a dungeon, we could just do like a square, say. According to the D30 thing, a square is a ruins. So why don't we toss some ruins out here in the middle of the desert. There we go. There's some ruins there. We have a cave up here. We could do like a dead forest here. Just little squiggly lines. This will be our dead forest. Oh, we got a dead forest there. And of course you're going to want to like name them and whatnot. You're like Forest of the Damned and things like that. Also lakes. If you wanted to put in some lakes to make travel a little difficult, what I generally do is I'll take an area where two rivers meet and I'll just fill that in like that. There we go, we have a lake there. So you got two areas coming in, creating a large area of water, and then one river going out to the bigger river. We do that over here. We'll do another lake. There you go. Now we have a pretty full area for adventure. We have some unknown places here. We have some areas for them to travel. We've got a couple of adventuring sites. We got like a mine. We've got some ruins there, deserts, jungles, and we have months of play just off of this little map that we've drawn. So that's it, really. And you can play around with how you make your symbols and things and what you've decided you're going to use for your mapping key. But overall, it doesn't take very long. Like, I think it took me maybe an hour total to do that. And we got somewhere to take people to go adventuring. So that's it. Easy, quick maps to do. You know, have fun drawing them in your spare time. Just, you know, draw world maps or whatever. You can zoom out and make giant continents and keep these symbols a lot smaller. And have fun with it. And that's it for me today. Save a seat for me at your table.